Hi, my name is CJ, and today we are going to explore how you can sell at the speed of trust. Not the speed of light, but rather the speed of trust. And here's the reason why. Now, assuming that we all know that asking questions to customers is an important thing to do. Now, you need to find out the customer's needs, and before you sell anything, you know the needs, and then you can actually are able to propose the right solution for the customer. Now, after asking questions though, what if the customer is not responding to your questions? What if, now, instead of giving you a direct answer, the customer just evades your question, or the customer is not really sharing some deeper insights to let you know what the customer is really thinking about? So what do you do in those kinds of situations? Well, before we go into that, my name is CJ. As I said earlier, I'm a bilingual facilitator and consultant in English and Mandarin, and has conducted trainings, coachings, consulting projects for participants all across Asia Pacific region. Right, one of the key things that I've done recently, as you can see behind me, is this book that I've written called Winning the B2B Sale in China. And well, we'll have a little blurb on the book in just a while. So back to the part about building trust with customer. Now, the thing is, why are customers, when you ask questions, why don't they answer your questions? Why are they unwilling to answer our questions? One of the reasons that we found is that people prefer to share information with whom they trust. And the deeper information that you want, the deeper the trust you need. And in fact, if you look at trust, trust plays a big part in relationships. And we can even go forward and say that the basis of all relationships is trust. Whether it's customer, buyer-seller kind of relationship, whether it's parent-child, whether it's husband-wife, or relationship between colleagues, the basis of all kinds of relationships is going to be trust. So, if that is the case, then what is trust, right? Now, before we go into the definition of what trust really is, let's look at trust in a different light. Now, trust is not an on-off switch. It doesn't mean that you have complete trust and then suddenly you don't have trust in something or someone. Trust is more likely to be a magnitude, something that you build gradually over time. So when we say selling to customers at the speed of trust, we're not saying that you are going to have complete and unconditional trust from your customer immediately. Well, eventually, maybe. Immediately, not necessarily. But, however, you can actually take certain steps, certain things you do to build gradual trust with customer. And after all, customers don't have to trust you unconditionally in order to buy from you. Customers just have to trust you enough and buy from you, right? Of course, we can say that the bigger the sale, the bigger the item, the greater the trust is required. Now, with that aside, with the understanding of trust being a magnitude aside, let's look into what is trust actually. So if you want to search online, you probably can search this equation. It's called the trust equation. As simple as that. So trust, in a way, is your credibility, right? Credibility, there are two aspects. One is about, do you tell the truth, right? If someone asks you a question, do you share the truth? Trust, or rather credibility, can also mean, do you know what you're doing? When you give advice, can people count on your advice and do what you suggested? Will it work? So if you know what it's saying, you have credibility. If you tell the truth, you also have credibility. So that's part one. Two is that, are you reliable? When you promise customer that you get something done, do you actually get something done? Are you reliable as a person, or are you reliable to deliver your customers as what you have said you will do? And thirdly, It's about intimacy. It's about how frequent you communicate with the customers, and not just any kind of communication. We're looking at open communication. We're looking at honest communication as well. So the more the customer communicates with you, the more likely the customer is going to trust you a little bit more. Now, we see a big dividing line over there, and it's all divided by self-interest. So if you approach customers with a huge dollar sign on your forehead, if you approach customers with the sole purpose of trying to make the sale, get the money from the customer, and then run away and fulfill your sales quota, well, guess what? The customer is not going to trust you much. Right? You're focusing too much on self-interest. I understand as a salesperson, you probably will need to take care of your sales targets, your sales quotas. We all get that. Customers understand that as well. And the thing is, customers also would like to say that, well, yeah, I know you have a sales quota for yourself, but that's your problem. That's your business. My business as a customer is, what are you going to do for me? What problems are you going to help me solve, or how are you going to improve or make my life a little bit better? Right? That is the customer's interest. So you need to focus a little bit more on the customer's interest rather than your own self-interest in order to build our trust. Now, great equation. So how do we then put that into a simple step-by-step way of selling at the speed of trust? How do we build trust with customers in simple step-by-step ways, especially with customers that you don't really know? So here are 4 things you need to know. In fact, 4 steps you need to know about building trust, right? So the first one is about show you care. Like as if it's going to be some rocket science. It's not. So you care for the customers, not just care like how is your day, have you had lunch, not that kind of care. But if you want to show that simple care or more superficial care, that's fine. What I mean is about caring on a deeper level. Care about the results that the customers are getting. Care about how your customers are using a certain product or service or solution, and if there are ways to improve the performance of those products and services or solutions for them. Find out ways that how you can help make your customer achieve a better result or live their life a little bit better. Right? It's about caring the customer, and it's not just a superficial sense. It's really caring about the results that the customers are getting, and if you can actually help them improve those results by just a little. Number 2 is about showing you can. Of course, you show you care, and I'm sure that there are a lot of people going around saying that I care, but can they deliver? So as a salesperson, you need to show your customer that you can deliver. You or the products that you're selling or the solutions you're putting together can actually deliver to improve or bring your customers to a better place. Right, showing you can deliver, and showing not only you can deliver, but also you can coordinate with the internal colleagues, with external partners, with all stakeholders to make it happen for the customer as you had promised. Right. So number 2 is show you can. Number 3 is about keeping in touch. We talk about intimacy. Now, there are times when salespeople meet customers, they tend to say, if there is a sale, if I want to sell something, I will visit customers. If the customer is not buying it, well, then I'll leave the customer alone. That may not be a good strategy. You may want to keep in touch with the customers regardless if they're buying or not. I understand that your time is precious. You want to spend your time on customers who are most likely to buy. I get it. But at the same time, what about those customers who may not want to buy now, but may buy 6 months later? Find a way that you can keep in touch without spending too much time, and let the customer know that, hey, I'm still following through with you. I understand it's not the time to buy yet, but at the same time, if you have other concerns or questions or doubts about how to make your life better, getting a better result, no worries. I'm here for you as a sounding board. We can always keep in touch. Number 4, last but not least, it's about keeping your word. If you promise your customers something, please do understand that you need to keep your word so that the customer trusts you more. If you break your word, the customer is going to lose trust in you. So if you are not able to promise anything, please don't make that promise. And I do get it. Sometimes we promise something, and due to unforeseen circumstances, those things may not be able to be delivered. We get it. It happens. So you promise to meet a customer at a certain time and you're stuck in traffic jam. It happens. If those things happen, inform your customers as soon as you can. Let them know that, hey, I couldn't make it on time. The delivery is not going to happen on time. I want you to make you to know it first, and I'll do whatever it takes to make sure that we'll get some result out of it. We will get some information when your delivery is going to happen. I'll keep you posted as soon as I can. That's keeping a word as well. So we talk a lot about empathy. And a lot of times we tend to think that empathy is this fluffy thing that really, it's really hard to transcend. Those 4 things I mentioned about building trust with customers, hey, those are ways of showing empathy for the customer. Those are ways of understanding how the customer would like to be treated in order to buy from you, right? Here's a quiz very quickly. Now, when I'm meeting with customers and after exchanging pleasantries, name cards and all that, how would you start the meeting with this new customer? 1, find out what hobbies and interests you have in common with the customer. Number 2, ask probing questions and assess the customer's needs. Number 3, let the customer know the purpose of your meeting and gain agreement on those discussion topics. And number 4, present the solution. To keep the long story short, the best answer is number 3. Let the customer know what is the purpose of the meeting. Does it actually benefit the customer? And if the customer would like to use that topic as a point of discussion, that's showing you care. And from there, if you are smaller, you understand the needs, you show you can, you bring intimacy if you meet a few more times or spend time discussing things that are more in-depth and gain more insights, and hopefully keep your word and not just present the solution, but also deliver the solution as well. Now, why is that so important? Well, there's a research that shows that the salesperson is now the single largest factor in a customer's buying decision. No other factor, product quality or pricing, equals the impact of a salesperson. They did a survey, they asked customers, what is the key determining factor that customers tend to buy? And 39% of the time, globally, this is a survey of 80,000 customers worldwide. 39% of the time, you are a different salesperson. You are the one that will make the difference between the customer buying or not buying from you. 39% of the time. Not the most of the time, but quite substantial. So what's your key takeaway today? What is it you can learn that you can put it back in place and apply it to our sales and make more sales immediately? Now, before we go, some things that we can actually add to you for free. We have a sales assessment tool, and that assesses on how you sell and what are the strengths and weaknesses you have throughout the sales cycle. Go to the link, enter the code, do the assessment, and we'll give it for you free. We sell to other people for a fee, but because you're part of this ADAPT Convention 2021, it's yours for free. And Last but not least, if you're on WeChat, if you work a lot with Chinese customers, you're on WeChat, do you use WeChat and scan our QR code? We have updates every week on sales, on management, on leadership, and anything that may be of use for you. You can also see my contact details over there. And I wish you all the best in your sales adventure. See you soon.